And welcome back, Source Nation. Welcome back. You're listening live right here on the Ladies Lounge. I am your host, Kathy B. Well, I am so excited. Definitely some amazing women here in the studio with me. I am going to be speaking with Miss Alice Gallup-West as well as Miss Ivy Edwards-Sledge. These two beautiful ladies are part of the Camouflaged Sisters Silent No More book. Both of them are contributing some wonderful stories that we're going to hear tonight. In regards to Alice, her part of the book was all about you are worth protecting. And then, of course, Miss Ivy, her contribution was forgiving yourself. Now, if you ladies here in the lounge haven't heard me speak with some of the ladies with Camouflaged Sisters, that's quite all right. I want to tell you a little bit about this particular series and definitely introduce you to some amazing women. Now, Camouflaged Sisters is Silent No More. It's about 12 women striped away all comfort and protection to share the struggles they face, not on the battlefield, but the struggles that they face in life. Some of them talked about being on the battlefield. Not only that, they talked about struggles that they face in their homes, in their barracks, amongst friends. And, these stories dealt with either sexual trauma, domestic violence, post-traumatic disorder, as well as depression. So I'm excited to be speaking with these women. Definitely they have given us an area of transparency, and I think that is so beautiful when we as women can really talk about what it is that we are dealing with on our day-to-day basis and how we are really strengthening ourselves, but yet empowering others to speak as well. So I'm excited to have them in the studio with me. I do believe that Alice as well as Ivy are both here. Hello, ladies, and welcome to the Ladies Lounge. How are you?
Hello, thank you.
Awesome. Well, again, of course, I've introduced you as two of the ladies here from Camouflaged Sisters Silent No More. If you will, I'm going to start with you, Alice. If you could just share with us who you are and tell us a little bit about you and what your part of the book was about, and then we'll go to Ivy and jump into the conversation from there.
Well, of course, I'm Alice Gallup-West. I'm from the northeast part of the United States. Spent 28 years working for the Department of Defense and worked specifically with military veterans and in the area of victim advocacy. And I was just so excited to be a part of the Camouflaged Sisters Project.
Awesome. And Miss Ivy.
Hi, my name is Ivy Edwards, and I'm from Virginia. I was in Desert Storm, became a veteran as a result of serving my country during the war, and I'm currently residing in Chesterfield, Virginia, married with 2 sons. My part in the book talks about post-traumatic stress disorder and how to forgive yourself.
Okay, awesome. Again, ladies, thank you so much for being here tonight here in the lounge and giving us the opportunity to speak with you. Of course, ladies in the lounge, we have been speaking with the beautiful ladies of the Camouflaged Sisters Silent No More. Again, the book is about 12 women strip away all comfort and protection to share the struggles that they face, not only on the battlefield, but instead in places they never expected, like their homes, their barracks, and amongst friends. Now, these stories will definitely speak on sexual trauma, domestic violence, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, and many other dangerous challenges women in the military fight today. Not only does this book give voice to warriors who have suffered in silence, but the soldiers who have been plagued by pain and the women who will no longer stand for injustice, but will rise up as victors and speak her truth. Love that. So I want to jump right in and talk about that. So, Alice, your part of the book, talk to us about why it was so important to give voice to your part in the book.
Well, I think that a couple of things. First, I was so young when I went on active duty. I had just turned 21, and I wanted other people to know that when life changes for you, it doesn't mean that life ends for you. And I had just, and if you read the story, specifically mind. That was probably one of the most challenging and life-altering events for me. And so that was one of the first things. And the second part would be that you can find your place. Because I was so tossed about for many, many months. And I found my place in the military. I found what mattered. I found what was important. And that has been a constant theme for my life. So those two things. One, if you're a young person out there and you're struggling with something, just because you're struggling today doesn't mean that it's going to change tomorrow. It will change. It will change. The second thing is I found my place. I found my voice. I found what matters to me through the struggle that I went through.
Yes, I find that is very important to find yourself. You know, you speak on an area that I find is very important in life, protecting yourself. And when I read that part of the bio, I thought about protecting myself from relationships. And the reason why I went back to relationship hours is because I come from a single parent home. And not only did I come from a single parent home, both of my children were in single parent homes. I've been married twice and divorced twice. I had to raise my son as a single mother. And I'm very protective of them when it comes to relationships and establishing relationships. But with that being said, you know, I want to give voice to that, to women that struggle and some of the things that they shouldn't do, and some of the things that we can implement that make us stronger if we have to deal in that situation. So I want to start from there. When you are speaking about protecting yourself, what is it that you're wanting to share? And talk to us a little bit about how people have been receptive of the area of the story for you.
Well, for me, working as a victim advocate, I will tell you, just like I say in the book, my Camouflaged Sisters, just like many other individuals, when you wake up in the morning, you don't set your day out to become a victim of domestic violence. You don't set your day out to become a victim of a crime. You set your day out to go to work. You set your day out to go to the library or go to school, whatever is on your mind. It's not that there will be an event that could literally change the course of your life. And so what I found was that working with victims and witnesses of military crimes, specifically my sisters in arms and some of my brothers as well, who have been victims of domestic violence, they need to know that you are worth protecting. They need to understand, and a lot of times in the chaos, if it's especially if it's a criminal matter, especially if it's a matter of the heart, you lose sight of that. And my voice to the victims' rights community is that you are worth protecting. I am going to do everything I can within my power and what I have in charge of to ensure that you know what measures are out there to protect not only yourself, but protect your family. And so with that charge, I was able to help women who had been victims of domestic violence, share with them how important it is. If you're in the military, you know your Social Security number, and if your spouse is the abuser and he's in the military or she's in the military, they know your Social Security number too. And if you want to get away from that person, there are measures set in place so that you can get away and you can stay away. A lot of people don't know that if you are a victim of domestic violence, you can change your Social Security number. A lot of people don't know that, and that is imperative because your Social Security number is a trail from where you go from one place to another, how to access records. So again, you all were protecting. For me, was a vital aspect, sharing with the victims' rights community and with victims across the board that I will give you the tools necessary. If you just trust me, if you just lean on me, if you ask questions, and a lot of times victims didn't know what questions to ask. What measures are out there to take? Have you applied for a domestic violence protection order? And did you follow up with the domestic violence? Right. Again, some things are simple, some things are complex. I always tell victims, of course, get a P.O. box. Have your mail come to your post office box. You don't have to have your mail come to your house. Get a P.O. box. I mean, there's just certain, there are a lot of simple things, because I will tell you, people that want to do you harm will do you harm. So you have to put measures in place. And you have to put measures in place to not only safeguard yourself, but to safeguard you and your family.
Yes. Love that. Great information that you're sharing there, Alice. Ivy, let's transition over to you and speak about your contribution in the book, which is Forgiving Yourself. Talk to us, if you will, please. Why was that so important for you to give voice to that area of the book?
Well, I talked about forgiving yourself because after I went through the process, when I looked back over everything that I had been through and how I felt afterward, I was like, this is something that can be shared and people can try to duplicate what I've done, instead of reinventing the wheel. It was a process, but I wanted people to know that you can get better, and it's just the ways you go about doing it. And also, I wanted to help try to take some of that stigma away about PTSD, because I don't look like the face of PTSD when people talk about PTSD. And that also raised awareness among my peers, the people that act like me, look like me, work with me. They didn't know I had PTSD, so they read it in the book. And also, I dealt with the survivor's guilt. A lot of people deal with out here or in the military if you were responsible for any bad action that happened to somebody if you felt that way. I touched on that in the book, and the process of going about forgiving yourself. And just for me, now I know that when you forgive yourself, you free yourself. That's the best way I can describe it. It was just a freedom. And when you're, like they said, when you're in a picture frame, you can't see the picture. So I'm letting them know that in the picture frame now that you can be free.
I love that. Now, I want to give light to PTSD. That was something that you mentioned. You said that, you don't look like the picture of PTSD. If you will, please, Ivy, share with the ladies here and around what that is and how you are giving voice to that area in your life.
Well, PTSD is post-traumatic stress syndrome, and is the result of a traumatic incident, like I said, whether in the military or at home. It's the result of a tragic incident. And I was involved in an accident, so that was my traumatic event, and it in turn created a lot of stressors and a lot of symptoms and stuff that I didn't know what was going on with me. But that's how I found out I had PTSD, by talking to the doctor and explaining my symptoms to him. And mental health issues, you can't see them, first of all. So if you don't talk about them or nobody knows about it, they don't know it's there. And that's what I think the stigma is. A lot of people don't want to get help because they don't want the stigma of, I'm going to the mental health clinic. And it took me a long time to even come to that realization. Years, like almost 20 years, actually, to even want to go to the doctor, to talk to them about, I know something is going on with me that's not normal. And like I told my nurse, I was like, she asked me how did I feel that I had a diagnosis. It was like bittersweet because one part of me, it had a name to what I was going through. At the same time, it was a label that I was not prepared to wear. So I think my part in the book, like I said, is just helping to take the stigma of PTSD off. Because now, I'm not going to say I'm proud to have it, but since I have it, I'm like, let's talk about it. Maybe the next person won't have to have as much stigma associated with PTSD as I felt that I had.
Now, I love that. The fact that you're able to give voice, because as we know in the African American community, It is very rare that we speak about mental illness or we seek counseling when there's an area that troubles us. And, when we look at especially the African American woman, we take on a lot in our daily lives. And sometimes we don't let anyone know that there are things that are troubling us. And sometimes we don't seek out the counseling. But I think that is so important to do, and I think it's very healthy to do. And I want to speak to both of you women about that, seeking the help that we need and not feeling as though we're being judged when we do so. So I want to start with you. Because you were able to understand that something was going on for you, was it hard for you to say, I need help, and then seek it?
It wasn't hard. I don't think I actively sought help. I went to a female appointment, and the doctor told her assistant to take me over to this other room at the VA because it was for people who had been to Desert Storm. So the lady asked me why was I there. I was like, I don't know. My nurse told me to come over here. And we started talking about stuff, and that's when I mentioned the accident. And that's when they set me up with counseling and everything. And I stopped going. I stopped going. And then at one point I was like, just talking to my doctor one day, and I was like, you know what? Talked to my husband and a couple of my friends, and he was like, well, honey, I think you should at least talk to somebody. Because I just had this picture in my mind of PTSD. I'm going to the hospital. They're going to put me in a straitjacket. They're going to give me all this medication. I'm going to be really, really crazy. And he was like, you should just talk to somebody. I don't think I ever really asked for help. I just went over there and was like, well, I guess that was asking for help. I was like, something's not right with me. And she had told me that earlier they had diagnosed me with PTSD a few years before. When I stopped coming, they had diagnosed me with PTSD then, but I didn't know it. But it became really, really, after I had that awareness and after I accepted the fact that that's what I had, yes, I think it was easier to seek help because I know what I was seeking help for. So, yes, that part was easy.
Okay. All right. And let's speak with you, Alan, in regards to that. Being able to say, I have a problem or I am struggling with something, and being able to seek the assistance that's needed. What are your thoughts about that?
I think for me, I didn't know what was wrong. And when I didn't know what was wrong, of course, as you said, coming from the African American community, seeking out help for mental health issues is a stigma.
Yes.
It is a stigma. And so from my journey, whether you were red, black, green, or yellow, it didn't matter to me. I knew that if I was working with a client, I just asked some of the questions that I thought were important to me. Are you safe? Are you in a safe environment? Do you have the resources you need, or are you familiar with some of the resources you need to keep yourself safe and to keep your children safe? And then, of course, extended family members and things of that nature. So that was what was important, I think, for me. I would make sure that from what I had already been through to ask those important questions of, my victims and witnesses, what's going on? Are you safe? Do you know if you're getting paid next week? Things that are really important. Finances are important. So again, I use my journey and my platform and knowing how those uncertainties for me, how they were just so unsettling to propel myself to ask those important questions. A lot of times people will tell me when we're in conversation, you always ask where did that question come from? And I said, well, I guess it's the way I talk. My thought process, I always want to make sure people are safe. I always want to make sure people are protected. But I know that from my own personal experience.
Good information, ladies, that you're sharing. Sports Nation and the ladies in the lounge, we are speaking with two beautiful women tonight. Miss Alice Gallup-West as well as Miss Ivy Edwards-Sledge, and they are part of the Camouflaged Sisters Silent No More book series. They're giving some great information in reference to your work protecting and forgiving yourself. So, ladies, again, thank you for coming in tonight and sharing your stories. Now, I want to transition over, what you both have left the military. You've gone through certain things. Now that you've been able to shed some light on your stories, talk to us about how the reception has been in regards to the book. Are you finding that people that you're touching that are still within the military or have served feel the same way that you ladies have talked about in the book? And I'll begin with you, Alice. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I will tell you, a lot of people have said to me, wow, I didn't know you went through that.
Mm-hmm.
And I just had a conversation with someone just last week and who had purchased the book, and we've been trying to connect, and we finally had an opportunity to speak, and we were on the phone for about an hour, and she kept saying, you just don't really think about all of the struggles that military women go through. Mm-hmm. And then she said, I'm going to order 2 more books from you. Will you find them for me? And I said, yeah, why? And she said, because I want to get a book for my cousin, and I want to get a book for a neighbor of mine. They both have children who are in the military. And she was like, they need to read this. They need to understand that even if you have the most difficult situations, you can overcome. And I was just like, wow, yeah, well, I'll send you 2 books. And I will definitely sign it for you. But it was amazing. Like I said, somebody reached out and they were saying, when can we talk? And I kept saying, well, we'll get on each other's calendars and, things kind of get crazy. And we finally did have a chance to talk. And that was the main thing. She wanted to make sure that she could get our book in the hands of other individuals who were on active duty now so that they could read the book and understand that if you're going through something, it might be difficult for a while, but the dawn is going to come. The dawn is going to come.
That's true. That's true. And, Ivy, and what are your thoughts about that? What have you been seeing, and how have people been receptive to the part that you contribute in the book?
Mine has been mostly co-workers where I work. They're majority veterans. First of all, they're shocked because, like I said, a lot of them didn't even know I was in the military. That's something I very rarely talk about to anybody. They were shocked at the story. They just had no idea. That's all they kept saying. I had no idea, Abby. I would never think that looking at you. And that's when I always would get my little 2 cents in and said, that's part of the reason why I did it. Because I know you would look at me and think, she has PTSD. So I said that, that mental illness, you can't see it. So anybody can have it. And you just don't even think that somebody, you just look at somebody and like, no, she can't have it. If you had a book or a picture of somebody, people think they actually can pick out the person with the PTSD, but they can't. And that's what I wanted people to get at. But, yeah, my coworkers have been very receptive to it. I met a lot of good people as a result of the book. And like I said, it's me feeling like I've freed up a lot of stuff. And that was another thing, just releasing that, letting people know what I've been through. And that was another level to my freedom and my growth. So it helped me, but I hope it helps somebody else even more.
Yes, yes. And that's why I want to transition to the next question in reference to the younger women that are currently serving in the military and the ones that are now away from it. What is it that you would tell the young lady if she was experiencing what you shared, Alice, in domestic violence, and then, of course, Ivy, what you shared in regard to PTSD, and I'll start with you, Ivy. What are some of the things that you would share to the younger women that are coming behind you? What is important for her to know?
That if she noticed, or even her close family and friends noticed something, quote unquote, different about her, and she feel like she just can't put her hands on it, so please talk to somebody. Like, the longer you wait, the worse it'll get. It's like cancer. You can't just ignore it. It won't go away. You can't put a Band-Aid on it. Like, as soon as you get up for it, the sooner you do, your chances are better. So I would tell them, don't be afraid to talk to somebody about it. You know, let people know. You know, I carried mine like a prized possession. Like, I just was thought this was just my stuff. This is my mess. I'm going to suck it up, and I'm going to keep on looking good when I walk past everybody with my head up high. But it was eating me up in the inside. You know, years of death will take a toll on anyone. And so that's what the best to tell somebody. It's just the sooner you get help, the better. Know yourself, recognize when something is out of order, and talk to somebody because there's help available.
Love that. And Alice, what would you tell the young lady that either is serving right now or maybe away from the military about domestic violence? What should she know?
That's kind of hard. What should she know? Well, first, she's going to know from me that you're worth protecting. That's the first thing. Secondly, probably if it was somebody who has transitioned from the military, I'm going to ask them, are you connected to VA services? And I always give out the number to the VA, 1-800-827-1000. You need to know what your benefits are. You need to know what services are available to you. Again, that number is 1-800-827-1000. The VA does not pay me to do that, but it's important because we have so many veterans that do not know what services are out there and available to them. Secondly, I said first, what I say, you're worth protecting. Secondly, of course, the VA number. And then thirdly, I would say to those who are on active duty, tell somebody. Reach out. If you're experiencing something, just like Ivy said, one of your coworkers or somebody might comment to you that you just don't seem like yourself. It's okay to reach out. It is. It's okay to reach out. There for a long time was a stigma in the military about reaching out for services, and especially mental health services. And thankfully, that cloud has been lifted and is continually being lifted every day. But definitely reach out. Reach out and connect with someone from your family services program or your Army Community Services program, Fleet and Family Services program, if you're Navy and Marine, Coast Guard, to ensure that, one, you get the help you needed, and two, that you won't have to go years and years in the gray bubble because you really don't have to live like that. You don't. And there are enormous safety nets out there for those who are struggling. So reach out.
Love that. As I was sitting here listening to both you and Ivy speak, Alice, I thought about the question that I asked Teresa and Lila. And it's in reference to sisterhood. And I find that all beautiful 12 of you have come together collectively to tell stories and give face to some of the areas of the military that may be a struggle for women. Let's talk about sisterhood and why it is so important, especially being in the military and coming out the military, and there may be some issues that you're dealing with. And I'll start with you, Ivy. What are your thoughts about sisterhood and, most importantly, what you all have been able to do collectively to give voice to various stories in the military? What are your thoughts?
Well, sisterhood has always been extremely important to me. But I think the veteran community, military community itself is like the police and fire. It's like a special sisterhood. So when I came home, I guess when a lot of us come home and get out the military, most of us don't live on bases anymore. We're back into the regular civilian world, so we don't have that closeness with a lot of sisters that we just had right before we left. So to find a group of women that can relate to experiences that you went through is awesome, because you have your girlfriends that you had from high school or your neighbor down the street. Y'all are close in one way, but some things you wouldn't even waste your time talking to them about because they wouldn't understand. Right. So, like I said, I think sisterhood is extremely important, but especially when you have someone who you can share deep core life experiences with stuff that changed you, that drastically affected you. So you talk to that stuff with a certain group of people. That's your safe place. Like I said, it's important for people to feel safe. And so I met these girls, and I haven't met a lot of them face to face, but we definitely have a bond. I was talking to them last month, and we were talking about the book and stuff on the phone, and actually we were doing an interview. And I was telling them as we were hanging up, I was telling them that my best friend who I lost in the military, I was getting to go put a wreath on her grave the next day. My first time ever going to her grave site. And the ladies on the phone was like, we're going to come. Had never met me. And Alex was one of them. Came down just to support me. That's a sisterhood. That's invaluable. I hadn't even thought about asking any of my other girlfriends to go. And they came because they know what that meant for me. They know because she was a sister in the military. She was a veteran, my sister in the military. And I lost her inside her grave. They know what that meant for me to put that on her grave. But I don't think my other girlfriends would have understood what that meant for me. So I didn't even bother to ask them to go. But like I said, the support from sisters, just for them to offer to be there for me, was just awesome.
Yes. And Alice, what are your thoughts about that sisterhood and being able to have that special bond?
Well, as Ivy said, we were doing a radio show, and she was talking about the loss of another sister in arms, and it was so instantaneous. We were actually texting each other while we were on the call-in show. And I'm like, you're close enough to me. I think I can get there in about 2 hours. Send me the address. And she kept saying, are you really coming? I said, yeah, I'm coming. And then Rashida chimed in and said, I'm an hour from there. I'm going to come. And then somebody else was in Maryland and was like, I'm going to leave at 4 in the morning. I can be there by 10. And it was just instantaneous. And just as Ivy said, it's the sisterhood. We understand each other. There is a camaraderie amongst military women. I don't care where you were stationed. I don't care what branch of service. There is just an instant camaraderie because we know what that boots on the ground feeling is like.
Oh, yeah.
We do. Yeah. We know the struggles. We know the perils. And I will say that it could have been any of us, could have been any one of us that did not come back from the sandbox or did not make it back from a training maneuver. That really hits home for me. It does. And just like Ivy said, we're a sisterhood. Camouflaged Sisters, we are a sisterhood. And I love these group of ladies. They're just awesome. Every one of them is just awesome. Camouflaged Sisters has a special place in my heart.
Yes.
And my military sisters, they do. You'll see, you could be in the mall somewhere and somebody will have on a T-shirt. And it'll be a military T-shirt or somebody that identifies with the military. Again, just a special place. And I'm echoing what Ivy said. My friends who are not military, they don't understand. I have some awesome friends. I have friends that I've kept in touch with since middle school. I have friends I've known all my life. They don't recognize. It's just because they haven't walked in those shoes and they don't understand. And so a lot of times when I speak to my sisters who have been in uniform, and especially my camouflage sisters, it's just it's a different vibe. It's a totally different vibe. We get it. We get it. We get that struggle because we know what it's like, or we know somebody that's experienced it, or we've seen it happen. We get it. We really, truly get it. So, Ivy knows anytime she needs me, all she got to do, what I tell you, Ivy, I'm just a phone call away. All you have to do is pick up the phone. I'm just a phone call away. But again, we are there for each other. I am my sister's keeper.
Yes.
I am my sister's keeper.
I love that, ladies. I love that. You have given us some great information in tonight in reference to your plight and what you've been able to contribute to Camouflaged Sisters. As we are wrapping up on tonight's show, I always like to leave either with some encouraging word or possibly some tips and advice that we have not shared in tonight's conversation. If you wish to contribute, you're welcome to do so. Alice, I would love to start with you, if I may.
I think I'm just going to reiterate, you are worth protecting. You're important. People, when you are going through something and it has turned you upside down, when you are in a paralyzing situation, you can't think. It's okay to reach out. It is so okay to reach out. And I'm giving people permission to reach out. If you're in a paralyzing situation, reach out. Contact, dial the VA number, 1-800-827-1000. Also, VA has a crisis line, and the crisis line is 1-800-273-8255. That's the Veterans Crisis Line, 1-800-273-8255. Reach out. If you know somebody that's in a great place, reach out for them. It's okay. You have my permission to reach out because you are worth protecting.
Love that. Thank you so much, Alice. And then, of course, Ivy, if you have anything you'd like to say, you're more than welcome to do so at this time.
Okay, I'd like to reiterate also that, get help. The sooner the better. Like, I just cannot stress enough how much time I feel like I've lost not seeking the help that I needed. So just love yourself enough to not make yourself do any unnecessary suffering. Love yourself enough. Just get help.
Awesome. I love that. And ladies, if you'd like to share with the ladies here in the lounge how they can get more information about Camouflaged Sisters or possibly reach out to either one of you, you're more than welcome to share that with the ladies as well.
Okay. Of course, my email address is alice.gallup-west@gmail.com. Just like my name, alice.gallup-west@gmail.com. And, of course, you can reach out to me on my Facebook author page at Alice Gallup-West.
Awesome. And Ivy, do you have any information that the ladies can reach out to you if they would like to do so?
Okay, my email address is ivy.edwards70@gmail.com, or I can be reached at www.ivy.edwards.com. ivybedwards.com.
Awesome. Well, ladies, again, thank you so much for being here in the lounge. You've given us some great information, and definitely you all are doing some wonderful and amazing things, and I do appreciate you sharing your stories with us. I think that it's so very important, especially for women that have served in the military and are away from the military, if they have any type of issues or concerns, that there is places to go. And there are people that are willing to talk to you. So I thank you, ladies, for doing so and giving us this information. And thank you for being here on the Ladies Lounge.
You're welcome for having us.
Thank you. And again, I look forward to hearing more great things coming from you beautiful ladies. I love the fact that I've been able to speak with a few of you so far, and definitely look to speak with more of the beautiful ladies from the Camouflaged Sisters Silent No More campaign. Ladies, thank you so much for being here, and we definitely look forward to hearing great things from you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.